Welcome on board the Sirius 31 ODS. I'm Torsten Schmidt, the owner of Sirius Yachts, and I'm going to show you around this boat. So far I've introduced the deck saloon concept on this boat to you. So you've seen all about and heard all about the visibility of this boat, and you've basically seen most of the upper level of our interior layout which we have here. But I've promised you 3 surprises on the interior and on variations. And how does 18 different interior versions sound as a surprise? So if you have a look to our graphics and to the layouts which we have here, you see all the versions we have built so far, and these are just the basic versions. You can even cross mix them, so that gets up to much more version. The reason is we are on a 31 feet boat, so if you want to have everything on one boat, buy a 35. If you want to have a 310, you can spec it in the way it suits your needs best, but you have to compromise on one or the other function. You can't have all in the maximum size you want to have. Therefore 31 feet is just a bit too small, and that leads to all these different variations which we have here. So just to concentrate on the 2 basic ones, or the 2 most opposite ones, on the layer which lies under the saloon area and in the front of the boat, on this very boat, you can have a front cabin, the heads, a separate shower cabin, and a cupboard and a floor, all in front of the mast support. On the opposite version, the 4.2 version, in front of the mast support, you will find just one very huge cabin with a wonderful island bed, which will suit a 40-feeter. Going on this version, behind the main bulkhead, you will find a huge head compartment, which is the same size like in our 3080s, and then the workshop. Whereas in this version here, you find behind the main bulkhead a very huge master cabin, which will surprise you as well. So let's have a look. We are in the owner's cabin of our 310 now, and this is the cabin which is absolutely central. It's just above the keel, in the very center of the boat, and there are a lot of positive points on that. First of all, you don't have the slamming which you might have in aft cabins, and you don't have much movement because it's just above the keel. This is where circumnavigators will sleep, on the big empty 70 feet racing boats, just in the center of the boat where you have the littlest movement. Here's a lee cloth living under here which you can put up, and then you have a perfect sea berth, or actually 2 perfect sea berths. But for normal days it's just so comfy because you have a bed which is 1.5 meters wide, and it's not narrowing to the feet. It goes all the way through in 1.5 meter width, and it's 2.15 meters long. Well, you have the windows out here, which is quite a treat. You have wonderful visibility from here as well. There's more light from the hatches and from the windows up above, and you have a full-size standing room, which 1.95 meters standing height, cupboards, drawers, more cupboards over there, and well, plenty of room to move around and to enjoy yourself. Coming forwards from the midships cabin into the heads, you have a private door, and while in here you have full standing height again. It's quite a light room, big mirror in front of you. The wash basin is so big that you can wash your hair without spilling all the water all around. This swivels away, and you have an extendable water tap here to wash yourself. Then on most other boats you will find up here no cupboards at all, because this is the usual place where the small holding tanks are. We have a huge holding tank of 100 liter in this configuration, and this is placed elsewhere. So we have big cupboards here to store all the necessities in the heads, and then there's a big cupboard down there as well. Toilet could be electric. In this very layout we have no separate shower cabin, which could be opposite of this room as a totally separate room. This customers decided on a shower integrated into the heads. For that reason, you has snap fasteners all the way around and also around here, that the curtain which you hang up doesn't stick to your body. And then we have the shower control and the shower tap which hooks in, lifts in here, hooks into this, and you have a floorboard which you lift out. There is shower tray beneath, and this is all sealed, and the curtain will cover all the rest of it. So if you are finished with showering and throw the curtain out of the hatch, the mirror might be misted, but all the rest of the room is still dry and ready for use after that. We're in the four-bed cabin of our 310 here, and what you see here is the layout, the cabin layout of the 4-bed comfort version. Like on the other versions, you have a nice double bed here, which is 6'9" in the shortest distance, 2.5 meters. It's a very airy and light room. You have lots of room in front to maneuver around, hatches, light from the sides, a nice sitting area where you can put on your shoes and socks, or leave your clothes when you go to bed. And then we have nice drawers down here. There's obviously more storage under the mattresses, but this is very easy accessible, and these drawers are so much nicer to organize than normal shelves. If I stand up, you could see that I have 6'9" headroom. That's 1.95 meters. That's what you will find in all our cabins down below here. Midships cabin, the heads, and the foreship cabin. In the saloon, we have even 6'8", which is 2.02 meters standing height, and to make you comfortable in here. In this very version, you find in the fore cabin a big hanging locker here with more storage underneath, shelves around here, and a quite open plan. You remember I've told you we have 18 different interior versions. Some of these variations come from the front cabin. In opposite to this version, you can have the standard version, which have a bulkhead all the way down here and a door into the triangular bedroom with an infill, which you can take out like on most other boats this size. Then you will have a huge cupboard on this side here, but you can also specify a separate shower cabin, which is directly opposite to the heads, and it's a really usable room because it's all sealed all the way around. It's an hatch in there, and it's just the shower cabin. Of course, you can hang clothes which you have washed, or your wet gear, but you know we have the wet locker directly at the entrance as well. This shower cabin is very usable. You have a seat and can stand up if you're not too tall, and it won't take up all the space. You will still have a cupboard all the lengths down here in front of it, but the floor to the front cabin will be a bit narrower. This is the point where we start to discuss about other versions with customers, in opposite to this version, where you have the heads, the separate shower cabin, the cupboard, and the bedroom in this in front of the mast step here. You can have in our 4.2 version, in front of the mast step, one big huge master bedroom in the front with an island bed with the pillows facing forward, and a huge vast area in front of that. And then you can have the shower cabin still here, which doesn't take so much space up in this version. The heads will be further back, and I'm going to show you that on the next boat. Talking of different interior layouts, I'm sitting now in the forward cabin of our Comfort 4.2 version. We are still on the Sirius 310 DS, we are still 31 feet in length, and you have still the same saloon, interior steering and galley, but the lower level is in a totally different design. On the other boat, we have seen in front of the main bulkhead, in front of the mast steps, the heads, the possibility for a separate shower cabin, the cupboard, the seat, and the 6'9", 2.05 meter length bed. On this boat, in front of the master bulkhead, in front of the mast step, we've just one big vast room with this very spacious king-side bed, which is big enough to have the pillows forward, so you don't turn around in bed. You can step in on both sides. You have cupboards to both sides, drawers underneath, much storage here, and the impression, the room, like you would expect on a 40-feet boat. Standing up, you have full headroom all the way through. Down here, look into the cupboards, huge drawers, and cupboards to both sides. While I'm standing here now in a position where on the other layout the heads on this boat have moved one bulkhead backwards. We are in the heads of the 4-2 cabin layout here. This is one bulkhead further back, where you have seen forward the entrance to the main cabin, to the center cabin. These are the GRP parts we've used in our 38 feet boat. You have a 70 centimeter wide wash basin here, lots of cupboard space, storage space here, and the toilet is in a midships position. This is really the center of the boat, very in the middle, very little movement, and you sit quite braced in here if you're in a seaway. This customer have opted for a shower cabin inside the heads again, so you have a floorboard to lift up and a shower curtain to hang around yourself. But as I said, you can have a separate shower cabin in the front area, which doesn't take up so much space in this very version because the front cabin is so vast in the 4.2 version. We are back in the saloon of our Sirius 310 DS, and as we are here in the 4-bed version, we have the nice central cabin under the saloon here, but we have also the access to the engine compartment. And this is just easy to open up this seat here, fold that forward, and then you take out this panel and open up the engine room. And then you can easily step down. There's room for your feet down here, and you can sit down here and have all of the engine parts just in front of you. It's the belt, water coolant, oil, your dipstick. It's really all easy accessible. You have all the other panels around from the cockpit lockers to open. You can take this away. This is just standing loosely. And just let you know, we put the engine in as the last part of the boat building. So 1.5 weeks before delivery, it just comes down the companionway, slides in here. So it's really, really easy to maintain and easy to service. We are now in the saloon of the 310 with the 4.2 version. 4.2 means for 2 people, so we don't have 4 beds, 2 cabins down here, but with just a big, huge front cabin and the heads beneath. And so there's a bit of a leftover under here. I've showed you the entrance to the engine on the other boat, and here we have a real man cave or small workshop down here. So same entrance, we just open that up, take this board out, and then there's a step to pop down. If you come down here into our workshop, you will actually be surprised how much space you find in here. You have your calorifier here, tanks, all the water systems up here, and all the electronic is built in here, heating, very accessible here, and there are various possibilities to use this room. If you are down in very warm climate, you might have a generator and an air conditioner in here. We had a customer from the US who had a house-size washing machine and a house-size tumble dryer standing next to it. This actual boat even have a mattress down here and a sliding hatch out there to make that as an extra bed. We had boats which no need of so much technique, where we had built in normal double size bed like we have on the 4-bed version, just not with the exclusive and nice room in front of it to step in here. We even had a Nordic 2-person dry sauna in the forward part of here, which actually works very well. Also, you have the engine compartment directly here with the accessibility of your water, oil, dipstick, your impeller pump, everything just in front of you while you're sitting on the toolbox. It's your diesel filter just here, so really everything around you, and of course a lot of storage space where you can have your extra tools, spare parts, everything not between tomatoes and potatoes but in one room. Very good accessible. Thank you for watching our videos. If you'd like to have more information about our boats, visit our website at sirius-werft.de or contact us directly. Thank you and goodbye.